Hello students, how are you all? I hope you're finding this chapter very easy. It has less concepts as compared to the other chapters we have seen in the unit of ecology. So after having seen why biodiversity is lost, हमने देखे हैं वो सारे reasons why biodiversity can be lost in a area. Okay, what are the reasons? Having seen those reasons, let us in this lecture today see how and why should we conserve biodiversity. Okay, why we have to conserve it and how we can conserve it so that ये जो threat है extinction का ये कम होता जाए. The number should reduce gradually in the years to come and it should not increase. That is our motto. That is our target behind it, that the number of extinction of species, the species which are on threat now, should decrease. It should not increase. So human activities are majorly responsible for it. We have seen this is the sixth phase of mass extinction, which is the largest number of extinction which is estimated. So we should not be doing that. But first let us see why do we need to conserve biodiversity. Extinction तो एक चीज है, but what are we getting? Why do we need to preserve our biodiversity? Why do we need to conserve our biodiversity? Okay, so biodiversity conservation, why? There are three concepts to it. One is the concept of narrow vision. अभी के अभी मैंने अभी ये किया, मुझे ये मिला, इससे मुझे इस प्लांट से ये मिला, मुझे उसको बचाना है, मुझे उस एनिमल से ये मिल रहा है, मुझे उस एनिमल को बचाना है. I am getting this medicine from this plant, I have to save this plant. It's a narrow vision. Okay, it's a narrow vision कि जिन जिन plants से, जिन जिन animals से we are beneficial, we are going to save those animals, we are going to save those plants. It's a narrow vision. It's a direct vision. It's called narrowly utilitarian vision or narrowly utilitarian concept. One of the concepts of why do we want to conserve biodiversity. Alright, so this is direct. It's direct. Direct vision है, ये narrow vision है. अभी के अभी जो मिल रहा है, अभी के अभी वो हमारे economic benefits का है, हमारे health benefits का है. It's helping us to grow. It's of our economic benefit. We are earning a lot of money by utilizing those plants. So हमको maximum उसका use करना है. We have seen over exploitation. Okay, so it's a narrow vision. What are we getting from the other organisms? We are getting our food. You know that plants are the only producers. All our pulses, all our cereals, all our fruits, everything that we are eating, we get it from the plants. So the food is the major factor that we are getting. Then we are getting the plant fibers. We are getting the wood and the timber which are used in construction purposes. They are also used to produce fire, okay, which is a very important resource. Then we are using tannins, dyes, lubricants, perfumes, the essence, the scent of various flowers in industrial purposes also. In our day-to-day life, we are using all these, but we do not realize. हमको पता नहीं चलता है कि ये कौन से plant का extract है. Unless and until you don't see the bottle, you don't read. Now this is a marker pen, it's having dye, okay? So we are getting these dyes from somewhere, some species. Then medicinal use, very important. Today, if I am having fever, I take a medicine. Okay, I am feeling if some patient's BP is high, medicine लेके ठीक हो जाएगा. The medicine industry. So many humans are dependent on these drugs, dependent on these medicines. We are utilizing medicines day in and day off in our lifestyle. Okay, so ये medicines भी plants से मिलती हैं. And this is around 25% of the drugs they are obtained from the plant species which we are using in our pharmaceutical industries. And there are around 25,000 native plants जो local area के लोग as medicinal purpose use करते हैं. जैसे आपने अपनी दादी को देखा होगा कि तुलसी के पत्ते तोड़ के खाती है. So that tulsi is a medicinal plant, okay? Although उसकी medicine वो pharmaceutical company से नहीं ले रही है, but in her native region, at her home जो तुलसी है, जो plant है, उसको हम use कर रहे हैं. So there are many more plants. I know plants जिसकी वजह से bone का joints का pain कम हो जाता है if you just eat the leaves of those plants. That is also what my grandmother is doing. Okay, so ये सब native regions, there are around 25,000 such plants जो हर area के native लोग, हर area के local लोग use कर रहे हैं. So these are all the direct benefits. This is a narrow vision कि अभी के अभी मुझे जो लग रहा है, whatever I am requiring now, I am going to use it, I am going to extract it, I am going to take care of it because it's of my use. Okay, so we are going to conserve. Here you have to remember around 25% of medicines are obtained and 25,000 of plants are still there, which are used by the native people for their Medicaid, for traditional medicative use. Okay. Next is a broad vision. It's thinking of what is going to happen around 1,000 years from now. 1,000 छोड़ दो, around 500 or 200 years from now. This individual is having a broad concept. It's thinking कि अगर आज ये situation है तो मेरी future generations के लिए क्या situation रहेगा. Okay, we don't even realize when we are breathing. Now I'm breathing, I'm taking in oxygen. We don't even realize कि ये इतना सारा oxygen कहाँ से आ रहा है. It's coming from the plants. The plants are the basic source of oxygen. Okay, they are giving us oxygen. तो अगर ये trees, ये plants नहीं रहेंगे, ये oxygen कम होता जाएगा on the surface of the earth. Okay, so oxygen he's thinking of. Amazon rainforest, it produces around 20% of the oxygen on earth. Amazon forest produces around 20% of oxygen on the planet earth. And we are behind cutting this forest. If we cut this forest, where are we going to get our oxygen from? Okay, these are called the lungs of the earth. And the value of oxygen, this individual says, the value of oxygen you will realize if you go to buy one oxygen cylinder in a pharmaceutical store today. So today just do it. In these times, in these pandemic times, the value of oxygen is very high. Go and buy and see one cylinder of oxygen, see the cost of it. It will not be required if we conserve biodiversity, if we conserve all the species around us. Okay, and this concept also says that if we put a price tag, do you know how many times in a day do we breathe? एक normal individual कितने times breathe करता है in a day? I'm sure you know. You are done with the chapter of respiration. Okay, so if that many times, if one breath means one intake of oxygen will cost you say 100 rupees, you will understand how much you are paying for breathing. So this concept has a broad vision. It's telling us that don't let these things come कि हर individual को पीछे oxygen cylinder लगा के चलना पड़ रहा है. Don't exploit the nature so much. Don't destroy the nature so much that every individual has to walk with an oxygen cylinder and an oxygen mask. And the value of this oxygen is going to be very high. And it's going to increase in the coming years. So he's having a broad vision. ये एक futuristic vision है. Alright, like for your examination, whatever you are studying today, आज की टेस्ट में पढ़ के उसको भूलना नहीं है. That is a narrow vision. कि आज पढ़ा, आज इसको भूल गए, it's a narrow vision. Whatever you are reading today has to be remembered not only for exams, it has to be remembered forever in your life. Okay, it's all conceptual. आपको ये याद रखना है. It's a futuristic vision. Especially ecology, it's a futuristic vision. ये ऐसे नहीं पढ़ना है कि एग्जाम देके खत्म हो गया. We want you to understand. We want you to understand and realize the severity of this scenario. Okay, इसीलिए ecology is put up in your level because you all are mature individuals now. All right, so please understand. Let us all contribute something to make this planet green. Okay, let us all contribute something. If you can contribute 5 trees, 5 plants, okay. So every individual should be contributing something to make this planet green. Every individual should be contributing something for maintaining the species diversity around itself. आपके घर की area में तो maintain करो. Don't let the plants go. Don't let the trees be cut off. Okay. Then next is the pollinators. We all know about the bats, the moths, the bees, which help in pollination. Without this pollination, where will we get our seeds and fruits from? So अगर ये pollinators destroy हो गए, the plants will not be able to do the process of pollination. So these seeds and fruits कहाँ से मिलेंगे? We will not get these natural sources of vitamins, natural sources of nutrients. Will all be lost. Third, the beauty of nature. Early morning get up. Go to university campus. Go to Goga Baba. Just see, it feels so refreshing. It feels so refreshing. Even in your local area, if there is a park, early morning जाके देखो, late evenings में जाके देखो, you feel so refreshing. The chirping of birds, the song of the bulbul. Okay. If you go to a land where there are peacocks, तो peacocks की जो आवाज आती है, it is so refreshing. It is so refreshing. Boating in a lake, okay, going to national parks, going to zoos to see your animals, to see the species. For the children, it is so exciting. But what about generations in the future? Future generations are only going to see photographs of all this. If we do not preserve our lakes, we do not preserve our oceans, future generation boating kahan pe karegi? Okay, so all these beauties of nature, all these feelings, okay, all these joys of nature, of natural outings, जो हम trekking करते हैं, this we have to preserve for our future generations. I will speak of a video which was commonly circulated a few days back. एक color का कार्ड दिया हुआ था, okay, crayons were there. There were around 24 crayons in that pack, and each individual was asked to take 2 crayons. Okay, so पहले जिनका टर्न था सबने bright colors ले लिए. Those first individuals, they took up red, yellow, blue, green, peach, orange, purple, ये सब colors ले लिए. बाद में जो individuals आए उनके लिए black, grey, white, light brown, those kind of colors remained in the kit. So it is compared that way कि अगर हम ये सब use करते जाएंगे, if we go on utilizing these vibrant things of nature, what are we going to leave for the future generation? Okay, this is important to understand. And third is the ethical concept. Third is the bioethical concept or the ethical concept. तो ये डायरेक्ट था, ये इनडायरेक्ट है. Because there is no price tag for oxygen, there is no price tag for pollination as of now, ये indirect vision है. It's a broad vision and that was a narrow vision. And ethical is the bioethical concept. Ethics means you have to be in your limits, you have to be true to the individuality of other species also. So ethics, the earth belongs to all of us. It belongs to all of us. It's a myth that human beings think that earth belongs to humans only. No, it belongs to all the species that are living over here. And every species, whether it's a microorganism or it's a tall tree or it's a big animal or it's a small unicellular organism, everybody has equal right to live and to prosper and to grow on this planet Earth. So ethical concept यही बोलता है कि हर किसी का right है and equal right है. It does not matter whether you are small or you are big, whether the organism or the species is small enough or it is big enough. Everyone has equal right to stay. Everyone has an intrinsic value because of which it is beneficial to this planet Earth. Whether it is beneficial to human beings or not, it is definitely beneficial to other species, definitely beneficial to this planet by some means or the other. Every organism has its own value. It has equal rights to survive and prosper. And no human being should be interfering with the life of other organisms or with the prosperity of other species on this planet. So these three concepts, just put it down in a table form in your notebook, because ये state board exam में भी आता है. Why you conserve biodiversity and how you conserve biodiversity is an important state board exam question also, where you have to remember these three and what they include. MCQs के लिए भी, which will come in the narrow concept, which will come in the broad utility concept, and which is an ethical concept, you need to mark. It's very simple. And let us see how we are going to conserve this biodiversity now. Why we are going to do it, ये तो हम discuss कर चुके हैं. How we are going to do it, okay? There are two ways of conserving biodiversity. One is in situ conservation and the other is ex situ conservation. You need to understand the meaning of these two terms for various MCQs which will come on this part of the chapter. So in situ means at home. जहाँ पे उस स्पीशीज का घर है, जहाँ पे वो रह रहा है, वहीं पे उसको कंजर्व करो. इन सीटू मीन्स उसी के घर पे, उसी के लैंड पे उस स्पीशीज को कंजर्व करना है. दैट इज वन वे ऑफ कंजर्वेशन ऑफ बायोडाइवर्सिटी, और इट इज ऑल्सो कॉल्ड ऑन साइट कंजर्वेशन. जो वहाँ की साइट है, जो वहाँ के कंडीशंस है, वहीं पे उसको कंजर्व करो. We conserve and protect the whole ecosystem. Its biodiversity is protected at all levels. ये उसका कंसेप्ट है कि अगर हम वो पूरे इकोसिस्टम को प्रोटेक्ट करेंगे तो वो स्पीशीज जो एक्सटिंक्ट होने वाली है या जिसको थ्रेट है वो भी वहाँ पे कंजर्व हो जाएगा, बिकॉज दैट स्पीशीज, दैट हैबिटेट, दैट इकोसिस्टम will be the most favorable for that species. That species, how it is interacting with the different species over there, with the different organisms over there, that is going to be the most beneficial one for it to survive. Example is given, if you want to conserve the tigers, पूरे forest को conserve करो. This forest will be an ecosystem of this tigers. For this tigers, because यहाँ पे वो जो खाते हैं, जो करते हैं दूसरी species के साथ, it's going to be their own land. It's going to be their own home. इसीलिए in situ conservation is also called at home conservation. It is also called on site conservation. Means ये टाइगर्स को अगर प्रिजर्व करना है तो ये फॉरेस्ट को प्रिजर्व करो. Once we preserve this forest, we are not cutting this forest. ये फॉरेस्ट को हम प्रिजर्व कर रहे हैं तो अंदर की स्पीशीज are going to grow very well. They are going to reproduce very well. Their number is going to increase. They are going to prosper and flourish in this area. So mainly we are focusing on conservation of both the flora and fauna. इससे ये बेनिफिट होगा कि यहाँ की प्लांट स्पीशीज भी कंजर्व्ड रहेगी एंड यहाँ की बाकी की एनिमल स्पीशीज भी कंजर्व्ड रहेगी, एंड अलोंग विद दिस द टाइगर्स, देयर पॉपुलेशन इज आल्सो गोइंग टू फ्लरिश, दे आर आल्सो गोइंग टू इंक्रीज, दे आर आल्सो गोइंग टू grow properly in this area. So this is in situ conservation, जहाँ पे हम on site preserve करते हैं, on site conserve करते हैं. The opposite of this is ex situ conservation. When you feel that these tigers are having threat in this forest, okay, they are having threat of extinction in this forest, हम इन टाइगर्स को ये फॉरेस्ट से एक दूसरी एरिया में शिफ्ट करते हैं, but that area will also be stimulating all the conditions of this forest. यहाँ के जो लोकल कंडीशंस हैं, लोकल एनवायरमेंटल कंडीशंस हैं, वैसी ही एक एनवायरमेंटल कंडीशन में इनको रखेंगे एंड वी आर गोइंग टू मॉनिटर देम. वी आर गोइंग टू मॉनिटर देयर ग्रोथ, वी आर गोइंग टू मॉनिटर देयर रिप्रोडक्शन. So if we feel that there is a threat of this species for extinction in this forest, in its wild natural habitat, we take it and we preserve it in a artificial habitat or in our monitored habitat, in our monitored environment. So that will be ex situ. In situ और ex situ, ये दोनों words के नाम आपको समझने हैं. In situ is home, ex situ is home away from home. Okay, the conditions will be same. जैसे हम hostel को बोलते हैं, hostel is a home away from home. All the conditions, all the food, shelter, everything will be provided जो आपको आपके घर पे लगता है, but still वहाँ पे आप इतने खुश नहीं रहते हो जितने आप अपने natural habitat में रहते हो, आप अपने घर पे रहते हो. So imagine these two situations. Okay. Next we are speaking of biodiversity hotspot. Hotspot वो area होता है जो species rich होता है. There is ample of species in a small area. That area is called hotspot. Means इतना सा area है लेकिन it has millions of species. Millions of species. Species diversity is maximum. Species rich है ये area. Species rich means number of species is more. We have seen the concepts of species richness and species evenness. Okay, so species rich area is called hotspot. They are called biodiversity hotspots. ऐसे areas जो land area में कम हैं, the kilometer area is less, but they harbor millions of species. Such areas are called hotspots, biodiversity hotspots. And globally means around the world. Around previously 25 hotspots were identified and now 9 are added to it. So total of 34 hotspots are there at present. These are areas जिनकी land area छोटी है but they have millions of species. वो millions of species को harbor करते हैं. These are called biodiversity hotspots. So it is planned, it is thought कि अगर एटलीस्ट ये लैंड एरिया हम प्रिजर्व करें, एटलीस्ट हम हॉटस्पॉट्स में जो एरियाज आते हैं उनको डिस्ट्रॉय नहीं करें. इफ वी डोंट डिस्ट्रॉय दैट एरियाज वी कैन प्रिजर्व अ लॉट मेनी स्पीशीज. We can get the rate of extinction to a lower level if we preserve the hotspots. Okay, and these are 34 in number in different areas of the world. Globally, ये 34 जगह पर present है, and they cover only 2% of the total land area. Means पूरे planet का सिर्फ 2% cover करते हैं. So it's a humble request, okay, to just conserve this 2% area. एटलीस्ट ये 2% एरिया को कुछ नहीं होना चाहिए. शुड बी द रिस्पॉन्सिबिलिटी ऑफ ईच एंड एवरी इंडिविजुअल. दैट 2% एरिया शुड नॉट बी यूज्ड फॉर सिविलाइजेशन, शुड नॉट बी यूज्ड फॉर ह्यूमन एक्टिविटीज. भले वहां पे कितना भी अच्छा लैंड रहे, कितना भी अच्छा सॉइल रहे, बट वी हैव टू प्रिजर्व इट फॉर द अदर स्पीशीज. एंड दीज हॉटस्पॉट्स इन इंडिया, आउट ऑफ 34 वी हैव 3 हॉटस्पॉट्स. One is the Western Ghats. हमने देखा है Western Ghats में species diversity ज़्यादा रहेगी as compared to Eastern Ghats. So Western Ghats and the Sri Lankan border of India, it's one of a hotspot. Then Himalayan region is the second hotspot, and the Indo-Burma corridor or the Indo-Burma region, where both the corridor formed between the Indian and the Burman, that is again a hotspot. So ये regions अगर हम preserve करते हैं, then India is giving its share, it's playing well in the biodiversity scenario, and it is going to have enormous economic benefits if it saves these 3 regions. So ये हर country को, okay, it is not only about India. We are speaking of India because we are staying in India. But if every country preserves its own hotspots, जो उनकी एरिया में आते हैं, उतने हॉटस्पॉट्स अगर each country is going to preserve, then biodiversity conservation is possible. We can bring the number of extinction species or threatened species to less. We can reduce their number instead of increasing it. All right. So now India, to preserve these biodiversity hotspots and to preserve all the species it is having, so that future generations को सिर्फ फोटो नहीं देखना पड़े, it is having national parks, it is having wildlife sanctuaries, it is having bio reserves. Okay, national parks, ये सब नाम आप लोगों ने सुने हैं. I am sure you have heard of the names national park, bio reserves, you have heard of the names sanctuaries. Okay, so 448 wildlife sanctuaries are there, around 14 bioreserves are there, and around 90 national parks are there in India alone. We are speaking of India. These figures are important. ये कभी-कभी MCQs में आते हैं. 90 national parks, 448 wildlife sanctuaries and 14 bioreserves. इन तीनों में से bioreserves जो हैं, उनका surface area सबसे बड़ा रहता है. They are the biggest in area. तो MCQ में ये भी आता है. बायो रिजर्व सबसे बड़े रहते हैं, उसके बाद नेशनल पार्क्स रहते हैं, उसके बाद वाइल्ड लाइफ सेंचुरीज रहती हैं. नाउ दीज नेशनल पार्क्स, दे आर लुक्ड आफ्टर बाय गवर्नमेंट अथॉरिटीज, एंड यहाँ पे ह्यूमन एक्टिविटीज नहीं होंगी. नो ह्यूमन एक्टिविटीज. means humans are not allowed to extract any forest products from these national parks. They are completely ruled by the government and they have a well defined boundary. They will have a well defined boundary जिसको government regulate करेगा. Government is regulating, government is checking the species inside these national parks. Wildlife sanctuaries, they are available to the public but only limited human intervention. So it will not have very closed and strict boundaries. इसकी boundaries थोड़ी open रहेगी. Means humans can go inside, but how many humans are going inside? What are they bringing from inside? All this is again limited. Means government, wildlife sanctuaries, the government as well as the private organizations, they are monitoring. Okay, government as well as private organizations, they are monitoring the wildlife sanctuaries, whereas the bioreserves, they are the areas which are large, which are huge, again managed by the government, and they will include national parks and wildlife sanctuaries in them. So यहाँ पे wildlife sanctuaries, national parks include होंगे, वैसे करके एक बड़ा bioreserve बनेगा, again which the government is keeping a watch on, government is taking care of. All right. The next concept is of sacred groves. ये सिर्फ Indian concept है. We all know that the native people of India, they believe in God so much and so do they believe in nature. हमारे यहाँ पे पीपल का झाड़, नीम का झाड़, ओके, तुलसी का पौधा, बहुत सारे ऐसे झाड़ हैं जिनको बहुत सोशल वैल्यू है. ओके, दे हैव अ सोशल वैल्यू बिकॉज दे आर ऑल्सो, उनकी पूजा भी होती है, हम पूजा भी करते हैं उसकी. सो दे हैव दैट सोशल वैल्यू. सो अब ट्राइबल्स ने क्या किया है टू प्रिजर्व बायोडाइवर्सिटी इन देयर ओन एरिया. एक एरिया को मार्क कर दिया दैट दिस इज अ सेक्रेड एरिया, दिस बिलोंग्स टू दिस गॉड. एक बार अगर एक फॉरेस्ट को लिख दिया कि इट बिलोंग्स टू दिस गॉड, then no one else can touch that forest, no one else can cut that forest. So they just do markings. ऐसे मार्किंग कर देते हैं कि अभी इसके अंदर जितने भी प्लांट्स और स्पीशीज रह रहे हैं, no human can enter, no human can cut anything, no human can extract anything. This is a very special and a very nice way by which the tribals in India, the native local people in India are preserving their biodiversity. Even the government cannot interfere. They just put it after the name of their god. The god whom they worship, it is behind their name. It is after that god's name. So they just preserve, they just fight if any human activity or if any human tries to interfere in this god's land, their own god's land. So tribals are playing such an important role in the hilly regions of Meghalaya, in the hilly regions of Rajasthan, in the Western Ghat region of Maharashtra and Karnataka, the borders over there. Tribals are playing these roles in the Bastar area of Madhya Pradesh. All these areas are called sacred groves. The word itself suggests कि यहाँ पे और कोई नहीं जाएगा. It is sacred. It is a holy place. It's an holy environment. It's a holy forest. It's dedicated to this god. No one else is going to go there. Okay. So now for your match the following of these sacred grooves, okay, which are prepared by the tribal people, which are marked by the tribal people, कि ये forest area को कोई भी हाथ नहीं लगाएगा. Even the government officials cannot touch, cannot cut those forests. That is where the tribals are conserving the biodiversity. So for your match the following, कौन सा sacred groove कहाँ पे है? Meghalaya, it has the Khasi and the Jaintia hills. Okay, Rajasthan has the Aravalli hilly region, Aravalli hills. Western Ghats तो आपको याद रहेगा महाराष्ट्र कर्नाटका border पे है. Okay, so Western Ghats in the Maharashtra and Karnataka region, all these are Indian sacred groves. Okay, this concept of sacred groves India में ही है. And then it is Madhya Pradesh के Sarguja, Chanda and Bastar areas. Sarguja, Chanda and Bastar areas. Bastar is also an art form in the Madhya Pradesh and Chhattisgarh region, that part of India. So ये आपको याद रखना है. Western Ghats आपको याद रहेगा. Meghalaya's Khasi and Gentia, you can remember it by Michael Jackson. That is how I remember it, Michael Jackson. So ये words आ जाते हैं ध्यान में, M, K and J. Michael Jackson, that is Meghalaya's Khasi and Gentia Hills. Just write it down in your textbook so that match the following के लिए आपको easily remember रहे. राजस्थान की Aravalli Hills, I remember it by A.R. Rahman. So both A.R. Rahman and Michael Jackson, both personalities from music. That is how you can remember it. Michael Jackson, A.R. Rahman. A.R. Rahman बोला तो Aravalli Hills of Rajasthan. Michael Jackson, Khasi and Gentia Hills of Meghalaya. Western Ghats you will remember because they are on the western border of India. The states are Karnataka and Maharashtra. And then Sarguja, Chanda and Bastar from Madhya Pradesh. That is how you can remember these sacred groups for match the following, which is an asked question. These MCQs come to match these groups with the area to which they belong. Now let us speak about the ex situ preservation or the conservation methods of biodiversity. Ex situ means uske natural habitat se us species ko we are going to take it out from its natural habitat, because if we feel that that organism, that species is having a threat in its natural habitat, in its wild habitat, we are going to take it away from there and keep it at a different place. Okay, these places will be zoological parks, will be botanical gardens, will be wildlife parks. Okay, wildlife parks. These are not sanctuaries. Don't confuse it with wildlife sanctuaries, जो हमने in situ conservation में देखा है. Ex situ will include zoological parks, botanical gardens, wildlife parks, where an environment of home away from home is given to that species. All its protection is given so that उसका extinction नहीं हो. It should be protected from all the other species also, and special settings are done to make that species feel that it is at its home. Some special settings are done for that particular species, and special care is taken. Special care of what that species is eating, how it is behaving with the other organisms, all that is monitored and it is kept. So these will be in situ conservation methods of biodiversity. Okay, these are the natural methods and these are the traditional methods which we have been using. But nowadays, we have come up with advanced methods to conserve or to preserve biodiversity. In these methods, what we do is, we can preserve the cells, we can preserve the tissue, we can preserve the organs of different species at a low temperature. Okay, we can frost it. Cryopreservation, it comes from the Greek word which means to frost, to put it at a temperature very low, sub-zero temperature, very low sub-zero temperature. Okay, we are going to preserve the tissues, we are going to preserve the cells, we are going to preserve the organs of different species, we are going to label them, we are going to keep them, and in future, we can utilize them. We can utilize them. In vitro fertilization can be done. Seed banks, nowadays seed banks have been established where you will find seeds of all the plant species, and different plant cultures can be obtained by using those seeds from the seed bank. So all these are advanced methods of in situ, ex situ conservation. MCQ, important MCQ, cryopreservation, tissue culture, in vitro fertilization, seed banks will come in advanced methods of ex situ conservation when we are preserving it at sub-zero temperatures. तो क्या होता है, उस सेल की या उस टिश्यू की मेटाबॉलिक एक्टिविटी पूरी रिड्यूस हो जाती है, बट द वाइटैलिटी स्टिल रिमेन्स. So these vital cells can be used in future. Okay, we are doing tissue engineering, we are into stem cells. So we are doing all this by all these methods. We are preserving the biodiversity so that species कोई भी extinct हो, but we still have its parts. We still have its vital parts. We still have the seeds so that we can regrow them. These are the advanced methods of ex situ conservation. So these are important MCQs. They come that differentiate which are the advanced methods from the traditional methods. The zoological parks, botanical gardens and wildlife parks will come in the traditional natural methods, whereas these will be the advanced methods. Now, biodiversity knows no political boundaries. What we are speaking of is not about India, is not about US, is not about UK, it's not about Sri Lanka, it's not about Pakistan. It's not going to know any political boundaries. Very important MCQ. ये हर एक नेशन अपना अपना डिसाइड करेगा ऐसा नहीं है. All the nations should come together. It's a global issue. It's a global issue. All the nations should unite with each other, should communicate with each other, and they have to preserve their own species. Because कुछ species ऐसी हैं जो एक particular area में ही मिलती है. You will find them nowhere else. Those kind of species are called endemic species. Endemic. You will see them only in one particular area. जैसे kangaroos हैं, you see them only in Australia, you see them only on the lands of Australia, and you see them nowhere else. It's an endemic species. So all countries, all nations should come together to preserve their own species, to preserve their hotspots, and to preserve the biodiversity globally. The Earth Summit is a convention on biodiversity preservation which was held in Rio de Janeiro, Brazil in the year 1992. Where all the nations participated and they were instructed, they were communicated, they had a conversation that biodiversity should be preserved globally. The Earth Summit, very important MCQ, held at Rio de Janeiro, very important MCQ, Brazil in the year 1992, very important. इसी का follow up हुआ year 2002 में, approximately after 10 years. Okay, that was the World Summit on Sustainable Development. कि क्या development हुआ है इस summit के बाद. This is the World Summit of Sustainable Development held in Johannesburg, South Africa. Again, ये important MCQ in the year 2002. ये years आप ऐसे याद रख सकते हो. ये एक को याद रखो 1992 and the other one is 10 years after that, that is 2002, which was a follow-up of this. So it was the World Summit on Sustainable Development, and the first was the Earth Summit for the, which was a convention for biodiversity preservation or conservation. And 190 nations participated in this World Summit on Sustainable Development in the year 2002, where they pledged, they promised that they are going to preserve their biodiversity, and by the year 2010, this number of extinction of species or the number of threatened species will definitely reduce. Okay, now we are in 2020. Definitely these figures are different now, but we will be following these figures only, that is 2000 data till 2010, because for your exam point of view, we are going to use this data. Alright, so I will not be confusing you with the present figures or what has happened after this, because we will be following your textbook for this. Here we come to an end of this small and sweet chapter biodiversity. इसमें ज़्यादा concepts नहीं है, ज़्यादा concepts apply भी मत करो. It's just like whatever you know हमने discuss किया है, उसी को थोड़ा depth में deal किया है. So you just have to remember this much, okay? And that's it. That is the end of this chapter, biodiversity. All right.